Grand rising, my beautiful kings and queens, and welcome to Mel B's Morning Tea, where we pour the tea, tell the truth, pull the receipts, and leave you with a takeaway you can actually use. So today's kickoff is relationship receipts week, and we're starting with romantic emotional relationships because some folks are out here calling it love when it really feels like customer service with trauma attached. So today's topic is when love feels like a job. Are you in a relationship or are you on an assignment? Because love should require effort, yeah, but it should not require you to lose sleep, yourself, your appetite, your edges, or lose your mind while somebody else is acting like showing basic respect to you is like a luxury upgrade. So before we get into that, as we always do, let's start with our affirmation of the day. I do not have to exhaust myself to prove I am worthy of love. I am allowed to receive care, respect, honesty, and peace without begging for it. I release relationships that require me to shrink, chase somebody, or over explain my value. So today, I choose love that feels safe, mutual, and honest. And let the church say, Ashe. Because if loving requires you to abandon yourself, then baby, that ain't love. That's an emotional hostage situation. All right, well, let's get into the news you should know. U.S. and Iran remain in a tense diplomatic impasse since the president rejected Iran's latest response to a U.S. peace proposal, as tensions continue around the Strait of Hormuz, with oil prices jumping and shipping disruptions persist. AP also reported the ceasefire is growing shaky, with recent exchanges of fire and wider regional pressure involving Israel, Hezbollah, and Gulf states. Second, cruise ship antivirus outbreak continues as passengers are evacuated. AP reports 2 passengers, including a French woman and an American, tested positive for the hantavirus after evacuation from the MV Handias, and the 3rd passenger showed symptoms. Reuters reports U.S. passengers are being monitored in Nebraska, while health authorities say the general public risk remains low. I don't believe that. I'm still wearing a mask and some gloves. All right, today's relationship tea. Neo recently said that he has lost work because of public reaction to his polyamorous relationship with 3 women, describing the arrangement as consensual and family-based. People reported that he discussed it on a public podcast called Sorry, We're Serious. Now listen, I'm not here to run nobody's household. That is above my pay grade and below my peace level. But this does bring up a real question. When adults agree to a relationship that looks different from everybody else's expectation, where is the line between private choice and public judgment? And that's why today's conversation is bigger than who's dating who. Because where it's traditional, it's complicated, public, private, messy, married, dating, or just situationship, or one of those, we don't know what this is, but we arguing like we got mortgage together. The question still remains, is everybody being honest, respected, and emotionally safe? All right, let's get on into our butterfly forecast today, as we always start with New York. It'll be cloudy this morning with more sun later with a high of 63 and a low of 48. LA, plenty of sunshine today with a high of 81 and a low of 57. Chicago, mostly sunny, breezy, cooler later with a high of 53 and a low of 43. Houston, you'll be partly sunny today with spotty thunderstorms with a high of 81 and a low of 68. Phoenix, scorching, high of 110 and a low of 79. Atlanta, clouds and sunshine later with a high of 79 and a low of 58. DC, early rain, then some sun. We got a high of 60 and a low of 47. Charlotte, pleasant, clouds and sun today with a high of 73 and a low of 47. Milwaukee, partly sunny and colder today with a high of 48 and a low of 40. Jackson, Mississippi, humid with fog, showers, and a possible thunderstorm with a high of 77 and a low of 60. Vancouver, partly sunny with a high of 67 and a low of 52. Kingston, Jamaica, Brief shower, windy and hot. High of 91 and a low of 80. New Delhi, India. Good afternoon, everybody. Hazy, very unhealthy air quality over there today with a high of 101 and a low of 82. All right, sports fans, your Sunday's finals. The Knicks beat the 76ers 144 to 114, and the Timberwolves beat the Spurs 114 to 109. Tonight, we have the Pistons play the Cavaliers at 7 p.m. on NBC and Peacock, and the Thunder play the Lakers at 9:30 on Prime Video. In baseball, the highlights include the Brewers over the Yankees 4-3, the Braves over the Dodgers 7-2, the Reds over the Astros 5-0, and the Tigers over the Royals 6-3. Tonight in baseball, we have the Mariners at the Astros at 7, the Giants at the Dodgers at 9, the Yankees and the Orioles at 5:30, and the Diamondbacks and the Rangers at 7. So check your local listings for those channels. All right, kings and queens, today's daily focus, like we said, is when love feels like a job. Are you in a relationship or on assignment? And let's go ahead and tell the truth early. Relationships take work. That's the real part. But some of us have been told that so many times that we started confusing love with labor. We started thinking of it that it doesn't hurt, it doesn't drain us, confuse us, or keep us chasing. Then maybe it's not real love. But no, that isn't love. That's conditioning. But yes, relationships require effort. They require communication, patience, forgiveness, and growth. But what they should not require is you becoming somebody else's full-time emotional employee. You should not have to clock in every day just to prove your worth. You should not have to keep applying for the same love you already earned. And you shouldn't have to submit a weekly request for respect or beg somebody to communicate. And last, you should not have to keep explaining why being ignored, lied to, dismissed, or played with hurts your feelings. At some point, we have to ask, am I in a relationship or am I on assignment? Because an assignment will have you feeling like it's your responsibility to fix them. An assignment will have you saying things like, maybe if I love them harder, they'll change. Maybe if I'm more patient, they'll understand. Maybe if I stop complaining, they'll treat me better. Maybe if I prove I'm loyal, they'll finally choose me. But love is not supposed to be a probationary period where you keep proving yourself to someone who keeps failing the basics. So let's call out some signs. Red flag number 1. You are always explaining the same hurt. If you've ever already told someone what hurt you and they keep doing it, that's not a misunderstanding anymore. That's a pattern. Now, nobody's perfect. We all mess up. We all have moments where we do not communicate well either. But if you are having the same conversation, crying them same tears, writing them same paragraphs, and hearing them same empty apologies, then we're not dealing with confusion. We're dealing with repetition. And repetition is a receipt. Another flag, they only change when you are ready to leave. Now, this one right here needs its own parking space because some people do not change when they hurt you. They change when they think they're about to lose access to you. The moment you pull back, now they're texting good morning. Now they want to talk. Now they miss you. Now they realize you're special. They realize now they want to plan a date and that they're working on themselves. But where was all that effort when you were sitting there feeling alone? Where was that energy when you were asking nicely? Where was that growth when you were crying quietly, trying not to seem dramatic? Kings and queens, temporary effort is not transformation. Sometimes it's just damage control with a hidden agenda. Another red flag, you feel more like a manager than a partner. If you have to manage their emotion, communication, accountability, their honesty, their effort, their consistency, or their attitude, that's not romance. That's a leadership position you never applied for. And listen, some of us are natural fixers. We see potential, we see pain, we see the child in the adult, and we see what they could be. But potential will have you exhausted. Potential will have you dating the future version of somebody while suffering through the current version. The current version is the one you are actually in a relationship with, not the healed version, not the ones they get it together version, not the I know I have of the heart version, the version showing up right now. And right now is what matters. So again, another one, you keep shrinking to keep peace. If you are scared to speak up because you don't want to start an argument, that's not peace. That's silence. That's silencing your voice. If you stop asking for what you need because you already know they are going to get defensive, that's not maturity. That's emotional survival. If you have to make yourself smaller, quieter, easier, less sensitive, less expressive, or needy, less honest, just to keep the relationship together, then the relationship is standing on your own self-abandonment. And that foundation is already cracked. So the grown folks' truth is love should require effort, but it should not require self-betrayal. A healthy relationship does not mean everything is perfect. It means when something is wrong, both people care enough to address it. A healthy relationship does not mean you never argue. It means arguments do not become emotional boxing matches. A healthy relationship does not mean you never feel hurt. It means when hurt happens, repair should follow. And repair is not just I'm sorry. Repair is change behavior, accountability, and listening without turning yourself into a victim. Repair is not making somebody beg for the bare minimum over and over again. So here's today's receipts, our relationship receipts. If you are the only one trying to fix it, you're not building a relationship. You're carrying an assignment. And assignments have due dates. Some of y'all been extending that due date and that deadline for years. But today, we're asking, is it love or is it emotional labor dressed up in an anniversary picture? Is it a partnership? Or is this who you're doing it all work, who you're doing it for are they enjoying just the benefits? Or is it growth? Or is it just another ride on an emotional roller coaster? So I want y'all to answer this honestly in the comments. Have you ever stayed in a relationship because you love the potential more than the reality? Or what was the moment you realized love was starting to feel like a job? Because somebody watching this morning may need to hear that they're not crazy, that they're not asking for too much. They're just tired of asking the wrong person for the right things. So kings and queens, your heart is not a workplace. Your peace is not a paycheck. Your love is not an employee benefit for somebody who refuses to show up with respect. So today ask yourself, am I in a relationship or am I in an assignment? And if the answer makes your stomach drop, don't ignore that. That might be your spirit handing you that receipt. All right, let's see who's playing in our face. So let's name a few relationship games people play. The bare minimum Olympics. They do one small thing and expect a parade. They text good morning. Okay. Did they also respect you last night? Did they follow through? Did they tell the truth? Did they show up when it mattered? A good morning text from someone who ruins your evening is not romance. That's customer retention. Think about that. Second, an apology without change. I'm sorry is beautiful when it comes with changed behavior. But an apology used as a reset button for the same nonsense, that's not accountability. That's a subscription plan. And three, the confusion trap. Some folks keep you confused because clarity will require them to be honest. When somebody keeps saying, I don't know what I want, sometimes they know exactly what they want. They want access without the responsibility. 4, the emotional layaway plan. This one gets me. They give you just enough affection to keep you hoping, but never enough consistency to let you feel secure. That's not love. That's emotional layaway. You keep making payments on a future, They have not proven they are building with you. So all in all, today's receipts. 1, love does not require begging. Asking once is communication. Asking 10 times is a pattern. 2, effort should not be a special occasion. If they only act right when you're about to leave, they're not changing, they're negotiating. 3, your nervous system is a witness. If your body is always tense, your sleep is off, your chest feels heavy, or your peace disappears around them, pay attention. Your spirit might be reading the room before your heart is ready to admit. And 4, history is not enough. Being with someone for years does not automatically mean the relationship is healthy. The time served is for prison, not for a partnership. And 5, potential cannot hug you at night. Potential is cute. Consistency is wrong. All right, y'all. It's time for Common Sense Court. And the court case today is, okay. A woman says she loves her partner, but she feels like she has to constantly beg for communication, affection, honesty, and just basic respect. Every time she gets ready to leave, her partner promises to change, acts right for 2 weeks, then goes back to the same behavior. Every time she gets tired and she pulls away, the partner suddenly remembers, how to be romantic. Now here comes the good morning text. Here comes the I don't need to do better, but I'm going to try. Here comes the random flowers, the promises, the I don't want to lose you. And here comes those good 2 weeks. And then the bad cable package, the same mess returned after a promotional period ends. Now she's confused. She's asking like, am I giving up too soon? Should I be more patient? Do relationships just go like this? Do they go through this all the time like this? Am I asking for too much? Is this normal? She's questioning herself now. So the question is, if you have to keep begging for love, communication, and respect, is that still relationship or is that emotional community service? So let's present the evidence. Exhibit A, the repeated conversation. She has already explained the problem more than once, several times. At some point, it's no longer a communication issue. It becomes a choice issue. Because when someone understands what hurts you and keeps doing it, the issue may not be confusion. It may be comfort. They're comfortable with your discomfort, and that's the problem. Exhibit B, the temporary change. Every time she gets ready to leave, the partner just all of a sudden improves, but just for a short time. So common sense is not against improvement. We love growth over here. The temporary change used to avoid consequences is not transformation. That's just panic behavior. And that's not I changed. That's I'm about to lose access. Real change lasts after fearing losing you wears off. So exhibit C, the emotional exhaustion. She's tired, not regular tired, not I need a nap tired. She is so tired. She is tired of explaining, of hoping, checking the phone, wondering if today is going to be peaceful or if it's going to be petty. She's tired of, saying that it's okay, but she does not want to keep telling people the same story about the same person. And when a relationship has you aging in dog years, we need to pause. Because love may require work, but it should not require emotional survival skills every morning. And D, the bare minimum being treated like luxury. When somebody has deprived you of consistency long enough, basic decency starts looking impressive. They call back once and now you're hopeful. They apologize once and now you're reconsidering. They plan one date and now you're thinking maybe things are changing. But listen, a sip of water feels like a blessing when you've been emotionally dehydrated. That doesn't mean the relationship is healthy. It means you've been thirsty too long. All right, jury, I need your ruling. If one person keeps begging for love, communication, and respect, is that still a relationship or emotional community service? So is it A, Still a relationship, they just need counseling? Or is it B, emotional community service, clock out, leave, bye, just say bye? Or C, it depends on whether real relationships or real change is happening. Or D, they both need to be honest about what they really want and what this relationship really is. So make a choice. Let me know in the comments, because somebody out there, needs to hear this, because they want to make sure that they're not crazy but for me, I'll let y'all decide, give me y'all ruling. But for me, my ruling, if you have clearly given chances, shown patience, offered them grace, and the same behavior keeps repeating, then you're not asking for too much. You may be asking the wrong person, because respect does not have to be dragged out when someone values you. Consistency is important. Consistency is what you need. And love should not feel like you're not constantly, should feel like you're constantly submitting a request that keeps getting denied. So my ruling for now is that this relationship should be on probation. Not because love is absent, but because behavior is inconsistent. A probation means we need conditions. No more empty apologies, no more temporary effort, no more treating basic respect like a bonus feature. If nothing changes, nobody needs to clock out, because your peace cannot keep being paid like a bill for somebody else's emotional laziness, period. All right, y'all, let's get off the relationship stuff right now, because people are getting a bit upset, but or they thinking, one of the two. So let's move on to our roots to right now. Today's root connection is about Ubuntu, often summarized as the idea that personhood is shaped through relationship and community. Scholars describe Ubuntu traditions as emphasizing community, moral responsibility, respect, and interconnectedness. So, in many African-centered traditions, relationship was not just about romance. It was about responsibility, community, respect, and how your behavior affected the village. Now bring that to today. We still say things like it takes a village, and we will still play, have play cousins and aunties and family friends and blood who are not blood. I mean, not people who are not blood, but they're absolutely family. So a 2026 Pew Research report found that many Black adults define family beyond birth or legal ties, including relatives and non-relatives they consider family, with emotional and financial support playing a major role. So relationship is not just who claims you, it's also about who cares for you, respects you, protects your dignity, and shows up consistently. All right, let's move on to our daily horoscopes, relationship edition. First up, we have Aries. Aries, today asks you to slow down before reacting. In relationships, every fire does not need more flame. Listen first, then speak with intention. Your lucky numbers today are 4, 19, and 32. Taurus. Taurus, comfort matters. Got tongue tied. But do not confuse familiarity with healthy. Today, pay attention to whether your peace is being protected or simply postponed. Your lucky numbers today are 7, 24, and 41. Gemini, communication is your gift, but over-explaining can become exhaustion. Say what you mean once, clearly, and watch what people do with it. Your lucky numbers today are 3, 16, and 28. Hello, everybody on Instagram. Cancer, your heart is big, but it is not public housing for everybody's chaos. Give love, but keep boundaries at the door, like security with the clipboard. Lucky numbers today for you are 9, 22, and 37. Leo, you deserve attention that feels consistent, not attention that only appears when you pull away. Today, notice who celebrates you without needing a reminder. Your lucky numbers today are 5, 18, and 44. Virgo, stop trying to what requires another person's accountability. You can organize the room, but you cannot organize someone else's emotional maturity. Your lucky numbers today are 6, 21, and 39. Libra, peacekeeping is beautiful until it becomes self-erasing. Today, balance does not mean swallowing your feelings so everybody else can stay comfortable. Your lucky numbers are 8, 14, and 30. Scorpio, your intuition is talking. Do not dismiss what you feel just because someone else's words sound pretty. Today, trust patterns more than promises. Your lucky numbers today are 11, 27, and 46. Sagittarius, freedom and love can live in the same house, but with only honesty. Today, speak your truth without running from the vulnerability that comes with it. Your lucky numbers today are 2, 20, and 35. Capricorn, you are strong, but you do not have to carry the whole relationship like a second job. Today, let effort be mutual or let the silence teach you something. Your lucky numbers today are 10, 26, and 48. Aquarius, emotional distance may protect you, but it can also keep the right people locked out. Today, choose discernment, not detachment by default. Your lucky numbers are 12, 29, and 43. And Pisces, your compassion is powerful, but do not romanticize potential while ignoring reality. Today, love with your heart open, and your eyes fully awake. Your lucky numbers today are 13, 25, and 40. All right, y'all, here's today's truth bomb. Love should stretch you, not shrink you. A healthy relationship may challenge you, but it should not constantly confuse you. It may require patience, but it should not require self-abandonment. It may have hard seasons, but it should not feel like a permanent emotional winter. And listen, sometimes the hardest relationship lesson is accepting that somebody can love you in their own limited way and still not be healthy for you. That does make you bitter. That makes you awake. And once you woke up, do not hit that snooze on your own healing. And before we close out, if you haven't already, make sure you grab a copy of my novel, Black Butterfly. You can grab it from the QR code up in the corner of the screen. It's now available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Your support helps to keep me creating, telling stories, and building this platform. So grab your copy, give one to a friend, and let me know what you think. So, kings and queens, today's tea was simple, but it was heavy. Love should not feel like a full-time job with no lunch break, no benefits, and no peace. When you're always explaining, always fixing, always forgiving, always caring, and always shrinking just to keep somebody else comfortable, that is not love doing its work. That is you doing all the work and calling it commitment. Real love may require effort, but it should not require you to abandon yourself. So today, check your emotional paycheck. Are you being poured into, or are you being drained dry? Are you in a partnership, or are you on a payroll for somebody else's wounds? Because peace is not asking too much. Respect is not being difficult. Boundaries are not betrayal. And the person who truly loves you would not make you lose yourself just to prove you care. If loving them costs you your peace, your voice, your confidence, and your joy, then the price is too high. Protect your heart, protect your mind, and protect your peace. This has been Morning Tea with Mell B, where we pour tea, tell the truth, pull the receipts, and leave a little wiser than we came. Until tomorrow, kings and queens, love deeply, but do not disappear doing it. Period.